on YouTube. Wait a minute, this is
So
a commercial.
welcome everybody to Artful Prayer at First Congregational United Church of Christ in Sarasota. So I want to welcome anybody who's watching online after we do this as a recording. We do this monthly. We invite you all to come. And this month, I'm excited that we have Brenda Robinson. Brilliant, Brenda.
Brilliant.
To lead us. So Brenda, now you can go and tell people what they need if they're online. Do they need paper and pencil?
The paper, yes. We have special, hello, and thank you all so much. And Priscilla, she's the only one up there, right? 'Cause
Right,
you see all those
Priscilla.
people, but they're in here, aren't
That's
they?
the rest of us.
Oh, that's
Priscilla
it.
and I.
Okay, so
So
you just
just
need
look
a
at the
piece of
center of
paper and
the table.
pen.
Yeah.
Look at where the
Priscilla
center.
says she's
Oh,
ready
don't
to
look
go.
up here.
Look
Look
at the
right
center of
here.
the table.
She's ready.
It's odd, but that's what you have to do.
Okay, thank you. Now, this is my favorite candle. It's called Fraser Fir. I don't know if y'all smell it yet, but they're special. Ask me about where you find them because you can't just find them anywhere. Okay, but I want to do something first because our water bearer, we have some of our water here, but we don't have our main water bearer, Pastor Wes Bixby here yet. So this is what I want us all to do before we even get started. Do me a favor. Everybody just put your finger in the water. It's warm too. He's got it. Hold on. Please, everyone just put the finger in the water because we're making the water our water because our water bearers hadn't bared water yet. Okay. But is that water from the baptism in your hand? No, that's okay.
Okay, can we get in here to get our finger in the water, please?
So we just improvised, and everyone is adding their DNA to the waters.
It's nice and warm.
Nice and warm.
Here's a chair.
This one, I was wondering.
Yep. Thank you. Just wipe your hands on your hands. So now we have some of everyone's DNA, and it is DNA from all over the world. Because we have our they just got back from Japan. Okay? Okay. Now, what I want you all to do is sit in a comfortable meditation position. Thank you. Is everyone comfortable? This is my prayer shawl that was given to me by a lovely friend. Knit. I think you all know who the person was. Thank you, Lindsay. This is the perfect occasion for it, art for prayer. Okay, everyone sit comfortably. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes. I want you to focus on your breathing. Take deep breaths, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Your eyes are closed. You're feeling good. Picture in your mind your favorite body of water. It may be as large as the ocean or as small as a brook. Notice the way in which the water moves, the way it holds its space, the way it impacts things that surround it. Notice how the water feels. Is it warm? Is it cool? Is it icy? Is it refreshing? Imagine how it tastes. Notice the color of the water. and notice the smell. Be aware of what is carried by water. Small bits of plant or animal, particles of soil or sand, fish and other aquatic creatures, some too small to be seen by human eyes. Become one with the water, carrying what it carries, taking the form of the water. In your mind's eye, I want you to trace the water back to its source. Trace the water back through the rivers and the streams and the lakes and the waterfalls, back to its original source, somewhere in the mountains. Now experience yourself as that stream, beginning with rain and melted snow, somewhere high above sea level. Now, as you begin your journey, you are but a tiny, tiny stream, just bubbling with new possibilities, looking around and exploring and shaping your own path through crevices in the rock or the channels left by glaciers that receded long, long ago. Feel your energy, feel your power and your strength as you shape your own path through the mountains. Feel the changing nature of your being as you grow when spring melts, when it contracts with the summer drought, and when it freezes in the depths of winter. You are full of joy, enthusiasm, and the energy that can literally move mountains. Now, trace your path downstream a bit to the place where you become a freshwater lake, with water spilling in through the lake's inlet, and then it leaves at its outlet. You are constantly renewed by a fresh water supply and sending your own living waters forth, carrying a rich mixture of life and life-giving soil. You feel full, but not overfull. You feel strong and deep, full of motion, yet somehow stable in your own lake bed. Now trace your path downstream to the mighty river, broad and moving. And I imagine like the Mississippi, it's always looking like it's moving and it's broad, carrying not only life, but also commerce. You are in a hurry, in constant motion, moving things relentlessly and powerfully downstream. You remain mostly in your riverbed, but not always. Sometimes the water coming in from melted snow or heavy rains leaves you with not enough space for its volume. You spill over the banks for blocks, for acres, for miles, covering everything in your path with water, bringing destruction and at the same time bringing soil and nutrients that will enrich the earth when the waters recede and you return to your riverbed. You feel so powerful and even mighty. You are responsible for much and you receive from everywhere. And sometimes it just gets to be too much and things spill over. Now, trace your path to the small, stagnant pool that's left behind by the receding waters. And I picture like, at the beach when the water comes in and when it goes back out, you have these little creatures and I forgot what they are, that are in the water that are they think they're making their livelihood and living in the water. There is no inlet or outlet for this pool. They are self-contained. Your warm waters and rich broth support life well. And your ecosystem is isolated from other bodies of water. Isolated. But there's calm there. And you're comfortable. But there is also decay and stagnation. And now, trace your path to the mighty ocean, constantly in motion, answering to the forces of the moon, the wind, and the weather, moving in warm and cold currents, interconnected with one another. You are the place where life arose on earth, the cradle for billions of species. Billions. Storms rock you, but only in isolated places, because you are too big, too broad, and too deep for one hurricane, for one snowstorm, for one tsunami to affect more than a small part of who and what you are. Because you are always in motion, ever restless, always changing, part of the essential nature of the earth itself. Feel your endless motion as your waves rise and fall and rise and fall and churn. Water is one of the most important substances on earth. It is a powerful symbol of purification, renewal, and healing. When we experience grief, we often have a lot of emotions and feelings that are difficult to express or even understand. Water can provide a safe space for us to release these emotions and connect with our inner selves. The renewal and gratitude that water offers us can move us to act in ways that honor, celebrate, and uplift the power and the preciousness of all living things, ourselves and each others included. Empty your tears into any body of water, a waterfall, a lake, an ocean, a stream, and know that as all your tears blend in, you are not alone in your joy, you're not alone in your sorrow, and you're not alone in your grief. Now, as you are breathing, reflect on the ways in which your life resembles the different bodies of water that I mentioned. With which images of water do you most closely identify? The tiny stream that's birthing, coming down the mountain, excited, or a freshwater lake with inlets and outlets? Or are you the mighty Mississippi River with all its power? But maybe you could be the comfortable but stagnant pool left from the receding waters of the mighty Mississippi. Now, when you're ready, please return slowly to your own body, to your chair, to this room, and open your eyes. Now, I invite you to write your feelings, your memories or prayers on paper. And then we are going to release these pieces of paper. We don't happen to have a river or a lake or a stream, but we do have this water that is indicative of the waters of the world, because they have all of our DNA inside of it. So I want you to write You could write about hope, because water is freedom. That's how I think of it too. Water stands for freedom, hope, resilience, healing. Water is comforting, and water is love. God, this is our prayer for this, who created water, we beg you to pour your waters into our lives. Give us the power of the springs of water from the Holy Spirit, so that we might live lives that honor you. God, who is called the Word, we beg you to make our words like fresh water to bless the people we speak to. You can write our words. And if you happen to be by a body of water, Priscilla, you could just let your piece of paper float into the water. Let it flow and offer a prayer as it floats out.
Can we talk or we just wait?
Now you have to wait for every people has to think, and they don't think and write. But and after we get through, if you want to share, that would be wonderful. Thank you for asking. My daughter. You can realize the power of water, because when I was thinking about this, I also thought about even a glass of water, how we take it for granted. And someone mentioned writing an intention or a prayer or something that means so much to you on a piece of paper and wrapping it around a glass of water with a rubber band and let it sit next to your bed and then drinking it first thing in the morning. Doesn't that sound wonderful? And you're allowed to look up when you're through writing, and then I'll know that we can move on. I love the part about making our words fresh so we can bless the people we speak to also. Okay, thank you all. Would someone like to share theirs? You don't have to, they're yours. Michelle, if you
I will.
You will?
My basic word for water is renewal. And I think I think it really parallels the baptism idea that we were talking about in Bible study Tuesday night. But it's renewal from sadness, tiredness, disappointment, whatever. And my life mantra is go to the water for renewal. Water has been very important to me. I grew up on the Connecticut River, in the center of Connecticut. And I had a little 14-foot boat with a 15 horsepower Evinrude motor. And I would just go up and down that river in that boat. I mean, it was like an environment in which I lived. I lived on the Fox River in Illinois, in the western suburbs of Chicago, and I have a condo on Lido Beach. And so watching what the water has done to the beach, taking out the sand, if you all know Lido Beach, you know, on the south end where we are, there's a park. And if you walk down around the park, Lido Beach is extending out into Big Pass because the tides are again taking our sand out into Big Pass. And a Big Pass was recently dredged, like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and the beach was put back up on Lido, and it's going back out. And big jetties with rocks were totally covered with sand, and now the rocks have all appeared. I mean, the force of that is just awe-inspiring. Anyway, tidal nature, certainly of the beach, ups and downs, giving and receiving, the highs, the lows, because it's tidal. Very, very powerful for me. Such a powerful image for me. Go to the water. That has been my mantra. Go to the water.
Thank you, Lindsay. Beautiful. Anyone else? Michelle?
Donna's on.
Donna?
She wants to talk. Hey, Donna.
Hi, everybody. I was just so taken with Brenda's meditation. I've always been drawn to water, and right now I live on a lake, a very large lake. I can't see it from my house except in the fall when the leaves fall off the trees, and then I can see just a little tiny sparkle. But if I walk my dog to the end of the circle, I can look out and down and see one little inlet of this huge lake that actually feeds everything south of us, from North Georgia down to Apalachicola, as far as drinking water and other forms of water. So I'm very taken with the presence of water. And my birth sign is a Cancer, so I'm a sea creature. Anyway, it's a little crabby once in a while, but
That's what I was trying to say.
I just sort of did a meditation on words, and it begins water, bubbling, trickling, babbling brooks, coiling, churning, merging streams, cutting, carving, creating channels, surging, making way, advancing, receding, tides emerging, ponds, puddles, isolated, stagnating, evaporating, life, creation, renewing, deep, calling to deep.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful, Donna.
Thank you. Thank you, Brenda. I appreciated your meditation so much.
I'm so glad you said your sign is Cancer, because I'm Aquarius.
Water sign.
So what can I tell you?
Go to the water.
Go to the water.
Go to the water. That's right.
You gotta send me that. Anyone else? Michelle, did you want to say something before? I didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah, I'm just not trying to take, I will, but I was just trying to wait to see if someone.
Okay.
But I will. It was kind of ironic coming here. I was talking to my mom. She knows I'm in between changing jobs, and I'm going to Senegal next week, and I'm going to go to Goree Island to
Speak
the
up so they can
castle.
hear you.
Can you hear me okay? To the castle. My voice can be really loud, and so I'm trying to. So the Castle of No Return, the westernmost point of Africa, looking out of when the slave ships came up. Check it out on YouTube if you've never seen it. So I'm mesmerized watching the videos, just trying to get ready for the trip. And I have a friend that said, leave all of the toxicity that I'm leaving behind with the old job. She said, just leave it on the shores of the Atlantic Ocean when you go. And I was like, wow, I really like that imagery. And I had shared it with my mom, and my mom,
Driving down here.
she didn't let on what we were about to do. She was like, oh, water. I said, yeah, my friend said to just write the words on a piece of paper. And she said, write all the toxic words and all the stuff, all of your emotions, and then release it into the water and let it just decompose and go out into the, and my mom said, oh, just like that, just out into the water. You know,
Yeah, but you said, I'm not polluting. It wouldn't be polluted because the water would dissolve. I said, yeah, you're right. The water would. The ocean can handle all of that. That's what I
So
said.
she just flowed with the conversation. So anyway, with that being said, here I am, and I'm like, I'm looking over her, and like, okay, this is a setup. But nevertheless, this is what I wrote. I wrote, free and flowing in the spirit. Water is boundless. Water is everywhere, yet it's powerful. Water begins and ends with the living water, Jesus. Water is never new. It's always exchanges, recycles, replenishes. Joining us all together in a boundless universe, always giving praise and recognition, honor and glory to our powerful creator. The power of water can never be harnessed because water is the great I am. Yeah, thanks, Mom. This is
You're welcome,
powerful.
Michelle.
Try not to break out in a Holy Ghost dance. Yeah, thank you, Jesus.
And it's with deep gratitude that I'm so thankful for you all sharing this with me today. Okay? And this, that interconnectedness of water is a blessing. Thank you. Because you are on an island, too. That is right. Okay. You want to close it?
You want me to close? Or does
Oh, I
anybody
didn't
else want
know.
to
I
talk?
didn't want to feel
We
like
have
I'm pressuring
time.
someone. No.
We have
I don't want-
time,
okay.
and I do want to share.
Cindy, you just go right ahead.
But does anybody else want to share what they said?
Well, I didn't write anything wordy or anything like that, but one of my earliest memories is of, and I must have been really small because we were visiting an aunt and uncle in a cabin and they didn't have a bathtub, and being bathed by my mom in the sink. Now, you have to be pretty small to be, right. And then I can also remember being with my father in the ocean and him playing with me, throwing me up in there and all of that. So those are sweet memories that go around water.
It's beautiful. Oh, Priscilla.
Priscilla?
You're muted. You're muted, though,
muted.
Priscilla.
Unmute.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hi.
Thank you, Brenda, for the beautiful opportunity. As I was sitting and listening, I was feeling a little stressed because I couldn't identify a pool of water, or I came up with a cup of tea. I've been drinking tea since I was a little girl. My dad, he called it camber tea. They put British, from the British, they put milk in their tea.
Right.
And so I was allowed to have a little. So I thought about how tea has refreshed me when I was very sick. My dad would give me a little warm tea, and that would help me to feel better. Then I started writing down and thinking about how, yes, water was very, very important in my life, because we lived in a neighborhood were across the street where there were houses facing our house. Behind those houses was the Rawway River. And the Rawway River flooded.
Mm.
And I remember one time it flooded so badly that our house, they had to come in boats, rowboats, to get us, to take us, rescue us. And I think we were in the high school gym or wherever. It was so long ago, my brother and I really can't, we've tried to identify. And thank goodness, by the time I was an adult, the Army civil engineers or some people like that came and did something. That had been a major river in industry back in history. But it was people were dumping, the industries were dumping in it and all. So it was not a pleasant thing. But my brother fished in it. And my sister and I were so stupid one winter, we ice skated. We went down where it wasn't so deep, and we actually ice skated on this, and it was cracking. And I mean, there were no houses nearby. If we had, that was so dangerous what we did. My mother had a fit when she found out. But that river, we went to see it in 2019. My sister was over and some of her sons, and they put dunes and whatever. They've done all kinds of things to make it so it doesn't flood anymore. But I just realized how that wasn't really a pleasant memory, with the flooding and worrying about flooding and what it did to the house and the repairs and all of that. I could go now, then I just could go on and on, so I'll stop there.
That was beautiful. Love that image.
And that's what happened in New Orleans too. The engineers supposedly had already fixed it when doing Katrina, and it was breached because they didn't do the right kind of job.
Yeah, it doesn't build your confidence. They also did the renewal.
I know.
Why you here in Sarasota?
Yeah.
And it's all disappearing.
Oh,
again.
they did.
So what can I tell you?
But why do we as men think that concrete can hold water back? It's beyond me.
I know.
Like, when you talk about the rock, the rocks. The rocks are gonna win every time. aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Well,
The water.
Yeah,
It's
the water,
sand,
because the rocks came back up on Vigo Beach.
the rocks and
Yeah.
exposing them. And I'm talking about rocks that go like from here to that wall.
Yeah.
I mean, it's now a huge jetty. There are two of them.
I remember all that stuff.
It's Army Corps of Engineers.
Army Corps of Engineers.
Yes.
So Priscilla, I think we relate to what you just said, so thank you for sharing.
Well, one thing I was thinking when my mother told me they were building it, where my parents bought a house eventually back in 1944, say, eventually the neighborhood became mostly Black. And by time when they put up this big, my mother was very upset because they put a wall that kind of would protect the other part of town, but the flooding would continue. It's at first, that's what it seemed. They had to do a lot of making noise and trying to see that they could be safe from the river too, in the section where all the beautiful landscaping was ruined by the flooding, and it was just awful. But I'll have to do some research and see if they've had any flooding since my parents passed and the house since '98. We really don't. I haven't paid attention too much. No, well, the house was there in 2019, and the neighborhood was intact. So maybe they haven't had.
So Brenda, if I can sort of bring us back in again.
Okay.
I think, first of all, is there anybody else who would like to share? Okay, because this is not forced sharing. This is a lot of this is very private stuff, and you may have touched parts of you that you just don't want to share at this point. Yeah.
I could read what I wrote, although
We would love it.
it's not too different from what others have said.
I put a drop of water that is part of the universe, the rushing water that can wash away rock, the water over rapids or falls, making a constant sound through eternity. And then I tried to think of just words. I wrote powerful, dissolving, washing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to turn it back to you, because do you need something to, is there anything you want to do to close, or do you want me to close?
I want you to close.
All right, all right. So I'm going to go through.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Isn't this that's what I thought? That's what I thought. So let me share what I want to share, and then I'm going to hand it back to you. So Michelle said she felt like she needed to do like a little dance. And when you were doing your meditation, I just felt like I was sitting quietly, and I was like, well, I need to start with the water up here, and I need to dance like Lindsay does, and the water's dancing down.
That's how I felt too. I couldn't close my eyes and do it. I had to read.
No, so I felt like I didn't move. I wish I had, but we could do that some other time.
We can do water through movement.
Yeah, it would be awesome. But because I'm a nurse, I focused on that we are made of water. So mine says, we are made of water. Where did we come from? Where did the water come from that formed me? My mother, my father, the earth, the sky, tears of those gone by. All creatures on earth share the water that makes me. What joy to know how we are all interconnected by the water of life. How sacred to share in communion, baptism, fellowship, waters of life. Let me honor the source of water. Let me honor God.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank Brenda. I think we all found a new source that for us today. So now I'm going to pass it back to Brenda.
And I will gladly accept that baton. Okay? This is what we're going to do. We all have our pieces of paper. Let's stand to let the energy rise. We're going to take this water, like I said, it has been infused with the essence of all of us in this room. And we represented Donna and Priscilla also, because you're not here, but you're in there, okay? So what we're going, and then you can take yours to take it to the water. What we're going to do, you think we should tear it?
Whatever anybody feels like.
I don't know how fast it dissolves. If you tear it, then it's dropping. Yes. I like that sound. And then we're going to put this, the pluses and the minuses. We know what we wrote. We know why we wrote it. And we're going to drop it into the water. And the water will, what's the word when you talked about water? Water is God.
Water is God.
No one else. Water is God. He didn't name it H2O, but it's going back to its original essence.
Put it in the middle of the table.
Put it in the middle of the table. This is going back to, this paper is returning to its original essence. Just like we will one day. And that's why we live. Look at this.
Somebody else should start too.
Our words.
Like when Jesus.
Yeah,
like when Jesus
made it wine.
And you know, it's kind of grapey.
Turn that toxicity into something else.
Yes, look at this. It all disappeared. And if we put it outside, what happens? It will evaporate and it will go to the clouds, and there is no new water, and it will come back down and bless us back into that stream and start at another brook and end at that ocean.
Flowers and the trees.
The birds.
And the birds.
Our animals that we eat.
Oh, this is wonderful. Thank you all.
It is.
It's gone. I didn't know that.
I didn't know
Take a
that.
picture of that.
What is this paper
I
called?
would
This is,
assume
where's
it's
this
Dissolving paper.
Oh, that's
You-
why.
Yeah.
Okay.
dissolving paper?
And how do you get dissolving paper?
Where do you
Oh,
think
so
you
it
get a
wouldn't
dissolving
go
paper?
Where? Amazon.
Amazon.
Well, this
I
is
thought you had
good.
special
That is-
powers.
Yeah, no.
What an important,
Oh, I wish there was a way to show them how, it's
You
like the
should-
paper's
Is it,
soft.
can we, if we pick this up and put the camera, is this the camera?
Yeah, just,
yeah, it has a wire.
My hand is wet though.
So we
I
can
don't wanna
take this
electrocute
and
it's a little eyeball there that.
at the
Where?
top, oh, it's not gonna come up, it's hooked.
No, it just is a little.
It's right, is it there?
No, at the
on the-
top.
Does this, oh, it's,
No.
Now we're done.
I'll fix it. I'll fix it up.
us, Wes can do it. Wes is good.
okay. Can we sing one line of a song to take us out?
Oh, yeah.
Shall we gather at the river or wade in the water?
Wade in the water.
Wade in the water.
Children, wade in the water. In the water. Children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Look at this water.
I know.
This water was all swirling like as in a tsunami, in a hurricane, in a whatsoever. And as that happened, it dissolved and turned a little light gray bluish. And then when we were singing and said, God's gonna that was troubling the water, but God's gonna trouble and make the water smooth again. This water is perfectly smooth and there's a layer of, how would you describe what's at the base of it now?
Our words,
That's all
our
right.
prayers.
Our words and our prayers are still there, like at the base of it. It's a real,
Yeah, it's
clingy-
layered.
It's layered,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful.
Are layered in the water.
And you could take a picture, and I'll send it to them on the something, on the,
Through the tubes.
through the tubes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Yes.
Pretty.
That is beautiful.
Unexpected
I
blessings.
know.
Every time we do
And you can
this.
see,
Yeah.
you can see the layers, look,
Yeah, yeah.
look at that.
I see that. They can't see that, but can they?
Oh, I can see it.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
you
see
can
it
see
on
it.
there.
I see it in
my-
Yeah.
We'll text it to Donna.
Yeah,
So-
Donna will send it to you.
For
Thank
those
you.
of you who are watching the recording, I'm going to stop it now, but I would invite you, if you do this at home, because we always have 20 or some people that look at this later, to take it to your source of water. Do what we did, tear it up, and watch how it all becomes part of God's water. I would invite you to do this on your own at home. And join us next month for something else that might be unexpected.
But know that if you don't have dissolving water, you'll just have a
Dissolving
goofy
paper.
mess.
So do it someplace.
Dissolving paper.
Yeah, don't do it in your bird bath, do it
Yeah,
someplace you can
yeah.
empty
Or if you
it.
need some dissolving paper, come see me.
Yes.
I got more.
Or go on Amazon.
Or go, yeah, this artful
Buy
prayer
your own.
brought to you by. Good Lord.
I'm gonna take the recording off. I'll leave it through the water.
Brenda, is that dissolving paper?
Yes.
Here's a piece.
Because, Wes, this got my mind going now.
No, I'm giving